Welcome to the Victorian Desalination Project. Here near Wonthaggi on the Bass Coast, Australia's largest desalination plant and one of the largest in the world is nearing completion.
The quality of the work here is equal to anywhere in the world. Yeah, we're 84% complete for the project, and that is a very good effort.
Already finished and out of sight are the marine structures and the inlet and outlet tunnels which form the plant's vital link to the sea.
You can see the start to the finish almost from here. You can see the sea. As you know, we've got the intake in the water out there to bring in the water. It comes in through the 1.2 kilometre tunnel. From there, the pump stations, the three cranes you're looking at over there, and the pump station.
The pumping station is absolutely unique. It's a very big one. It's one of the biggest ones in the world.
There's 12 big submersible pumps. Those pumps, when fired up, basically are submersibles. They sit down at the bottom of the chambers and they pump the water up into the top, which gravity feeds into the pre-treatment part of the plant and through to the rest. There's about 10,500 cubic metres of concrete, structural concrete in the pump structure.
From the pump station, it goes into these filters. There's 72 filters.
They're basically giant swimming pool filters.
Essentially, the swimming pool filters done under pressure. And from there, it goes through into the RO building, where there's the cartridge filters, and from the cartridge filters, it goes into the RO plant itself.
Well, this is a reverse osmosis unit. The little white vessels all around us here, there's approximately 8,000 of those. Inside those we have a membrane, and there's approximately 55,000 membranes. The plant consists of approximately 48 kilometres of pipe and 350 plus kilometres of cable. Where we take the water from the ocean, we filter it, we bring it into this plant, we put it through pumps at around about 65 bar, which is extremely high pressure. We push it up against a membrane which filters the water out, so the salt is left behind, which is called a permeate. The good water, or the virtually no mineral water, comes back out, goes out, gets chemically treated, we put some good stuff back into it, and then goes out to the pipeline.
And so once that hits the pipeline, that water is treated, ready to drink?
Ready to drink, yeah, it's potable water.
Desalination plants are big consumers of energy, so efficiency is vital. Here, an innovative system is being deployed to recover pressure energy from already processed seawater for redeployment in the reverse osmosis process. Maximising efficiency and minimising environmental impacts are key priorities of the project.
Well, one of the things that I'm particularly proud about is the quality of the environmental design. When you actually look at the plant, the way it's been designed to blend into the landscape with this fantastic living roof, for example.
Well, the roof in short term is 26,000 square metres in overall size, which is larger than the MCG, or around about the same size. Predominantly there's 100,000 plants being planted on the roof. 25 species which are identical to the species you find on the beach just over the back here. It's only a few months ago these plants were little seedlings, and you can see behind us that they've taken hold and they're moving quite well.
Even the massive holding tanks will have minimal visual impact.
If we have a small problem on the pipeline and we can't export water, we have to store the water somewhere. So these tanks can be used to store the production of a few hours of the plant, which means we can intervene on a valve or something like that without stopping the plant down.
Also completed are the two major links to Melbourne, the 87-kilometre underground power supply and the 84-kilometre pipeline to deliver potable water to Melbourne and regional water networks.
So these are 600 kilowatt suction pumps. These pumps pull the treated water coming out of the RO building, which sit in the ponds, pulls that water through these suction lines and pumps it out through the output lines, which go then into Melbourne. So this is basically the heart of getting the water from the plant to Melbourne.
Some of the work they've done here is as good as done anywhere in the world, and it's probably one of the larger and more complex projects that's being built in the world right now. So you could not help but be proud of what's been happening. It's a major achievement for everybody that's been involved. we haven't broken any great new ground in terms of producing desalinated water. It's a process that's been used before, but on this scale, and the scale of some of the ancillary work as well, the pipeline, the underground cable. I think the underground electrical cable is bigger than or longer than any underground cable in the world, so it's going to be seen as a major achievement for everybody.
The achievement extends well beyond the plant and its associated infrastructure. It also includes a major ecological restoration project.
The restoration of the landscape around the plant is also extremely important. It was really quite degraded farmland, and the restoration involves the replacing the dunes, so the natural landform is restored, and also planting hundreds of thousands of plants, local species, so that it will blend beautifully into the coastal strip on either side. And of course, with the walkways and the riding trails, it will be a wonderful asset for the local community.
Every aspect of the project is subject to rigorous environmental monitoring.
So during the construction phase, we have the oversight of the independent reviewer and environmental auditor, and then of course once the plant is in operation and delivering water, the quality standards of that water, which again are set at a very high level, will be monitored by Melbourne Water, and they of course have very strict controls over whether or not they take that water, and they expect the quality standards to be met at all times.
And so this project, which was conceived, planned and bid in a time of record drought, only then to be constructed during a period of record rainfall, has achieved extraordinary progress in just a little over 2 years.
I think the job has got terrible press in the fact that it's been very unfair on the management and the workers. If we've gone around the site, you've seen what we've achieved. We've got very good workers, very good high quality workers on this site. They've done a good job, and they should be patted on the back. This has been a difficult job, difficult weather conditions, a lot of issues we've had to manage, but generally speaking, I've just got accolades for the workers. To get out of the ground that during that wet season was a marvellous feat by the guys involved, and it did slow us up, but we'll be making water in May, June next year, and we'll progressively bring the plant on after that.
Great achievement.
Thank you very much.
Well, the real benefit of this plant is that it provides on-demand water security for Victorians. Water supply is an absolutely vital service, and you can't think of anything that's more fundamental for the community to rely upon. And if you take the long view, and if you think about the risks associated with growing population and associated with variable climate, and we've experienced great extremes over the last decade or so, looking into the future, it's extraordinarily important that we have that security of supply. And like any infrastructure, yes, it's expensive to build, but you build it for the long term. And if you take that long view, we're talking about a plant which will be able to be operated at any time that it's required under our contract over the next 30 years, and then it will be handed back to the state in as good working condition as the day it was built. And so it will be capable of providing that absolutely vital service of security of water supply for a long time into the future, and that's something that's of great value to the people of Victoria.